Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we have another brand new Nanmu release. As we have not just another Nanmu release, we've got another of these unactivated, I guess they're called, basically model kit versions of their dinosaurs. We have reviewed the Tyrannosaurus Rex in the past. This one is super awesome because we have the Spinosaurus, and what I really like about these is how they consistently create these to kind of look very stagnant and very maquette-like, and that is never a bad thing because I love the entire idea of owning Jurassic Park and Jurassic World style maquette type figures. Now so far we only have Jurassic Park actually, because we have the Spino, the T-Rex, and there's also a Velociraptor coming. But again, now finally having the Spinosaurus is definitely exciting. You can see the box art is pretty, much your standard. You've got that nice shot there of the pieces of the Spino, also of course showing us what we have to assemble on the model. And then if we turn it around and we take a look here at the back, you can see an image of the Spinosaurus once it is actually fully put together but still unpainted. So let's pop this open, bring the pieces in, and check them out from there. So here's what we're left with once we actually pull everything out of the box. Now, as you can see, most of it's kind of covered up here in paper, so we can't really see what we're looking at, but we can see that we've got the dew claws and the tongue in this little baggie here, so that's a pretty big sizable tongue right there. But then this one's very clearly going to be the base. So we'll pull them all out, and the base is exactly as the base was for the T-Rex, so you can see it's just a circle, nothing crazy going on here, just the areas here to put the pegs for the Spinosaurus. Then we also have, let's see what we've got going on with this, looks like part of the head, so yes, we have the lower jaw of the Spinosaurus right there in that one, and again, these are resin models, so that's something to consider when purchasing one because they're going to be a little bit more fragile than your average Nanmu model, similar to a Soul of the Dragon version where they're a bit more fragile. That's exactly what you'd be dealing with one of these. You also have one of the arms here for the Spinosaurus, which my camera's not focusing on. There you go. You can see the arms, the hands, everything looks really nice. We'll see what's in this piece here. Looks like another arm potentially. I kind of see the, yep. Kind of saw the hand sticking there through it, so you now have the other arm right here, which again we'll have to connect to our Spinosaurus here in just a little bit. And then this maybe is the other part of the head. Yep, so this is the upper jaw and the head of our Spinosaurus. So of course we have to put the tongue in there, but you can kind of get an idea, if I can line these up correctly, there we go, kind of get an idea as far as what the head sculpt is going to look like with the Spinosaurus once you get the entire thing again kind of put together. It looks really, really nice, honestly. So I'll put that over there. Then we've got what is definitely going to be one of the two legs. That would be the left leg of our Spinosaurus. You can very clearly tell because, well, of course, just the appearance, but also the dew claw is missing, and this would be on the inside, so that would make this the left leg. And it looks really nice. Again, the actual skin texture looks really good. I'm pretty hyped to paint this, even though I'm always intimidated to paint a JP3 Spinosaurus. I don't know what it is about this paint scheme and paint application that I just don't usually do too good with, or at least I personally haven't really been that happy with it yet. The closest I would say to one I've been happy with would have been my Arctic Figures version, but I still think there's room for improvement, so hopefully I'll be able to pull off that improvement with this version here. We're down to two pieces, one of which is very clearly going to be the tail. And yes, that is exactly what we have here, would be the tail of our Spinosaurus. And then, I think it's pretty obvious what we've got here, would be the rest of the body of our Spinosaurus. Once we unwrap it here and get that out of the way, there is the body to the Spinosaurus, and again it comes in exactly the same coloration that it had on the T-Rex. So what we're going to do now is we're going to assemble everything except for the head, or I might actually paint the inside of the mouth of the Spinosaurus' head and then assemble that and then put everything together. I'm not entirely sure what route I'm going to take quite yet, but we'll get some of this at the very least assembled and we'll come back and check it out from there. So I've just gone ahead and painted the inside of the mouth, and then I gave, of course, the head a little bit of a brown coloration because I usually start with this territorial beige as my base coat for most of my figures, But I just wanted to show you guys the inside of the mouth really quick. As far as the detailing aspect, you can see it does look really quite nice. The tongue hasn't been attached or anything quite yet. But, you know, we won't have a chance to really see the inside of the mouth after this point because I have to kind of glue it all together. And then, of course, you have to assemble it by putting the tongue inside the mouth just like that. And the tongue sits in there just like it does right there. And then, of course, you would attach the upper part of the head to the, you know, lower jaw there, of course. And then we're going to go ahead and do this, and then we'll glue it onto the Spinosaurus, and we'll take a look at it, you know, a closer look at it after that. But obviously this whole section is going to be a different color than the rest of the body because I haven't given the rest of the body the base coat quite yet. So let's go ahead and get this glued on. We'll check it out again from there. So here is the Spinosaurus now fully assembled and definitely looking really nice. You can see as we progress further through this model, now that it's actually all put together, you can see again it absolutely has that fantastic maquette style to it, which is pretty much exactly what these models are, but I think it really does look quite nice overall. It looks a little goofy because the head's, you know, slightly painted and the rest of the body isn't, but again, it really is probably, in my opinion, one of the nicest Nanmu Spinosaurus to come so far, just because the detail looks great, but I just really love that sort of maquette style look, again, that stagnant look that we have for it. So what we're going to do at this point is jump to a closer look. We'll check the figure out from there, and then of course we'll get it painted up after that. So starting up here at the head sculpt of the Spinosaurus, you can see again it looks really good, definitely has captured the likeness of the Jurassic Park 3 Spinosaurus perfectly, there is no doubt about that. But if you get nice and close and you take a look at the skin texture, you can see it is very highly detailed. The detail absolutely looks just like the other Nanmu Spinos, I would say, especially when it comes to the skin texture on the lower jaw. For some reason that area always stands out to me when it comes to the Nanmu Spinosaurus, but you can see even in the like eye socket area, the nostrils, everything looks really good. As you move back a little further, you can see the ears are sculpted out for the Spinosaurus, and as you continue to move along, you can see that we've got, again, really nice looking scale detail, nice kind of slight creases in the skin and everything. As you move down, just adding nice bits of realism overall. Up here on the top, you can see again that we've got kind of like a scoot-like appearance moving down through the course of the back of the neck of the Spinosaurus. You also have the throat sculpted out down here on the underside. As you move down a little further, you can see how nice that skin texture looks. It looks really good on this model. Again, very vibrant, crisp looking skin texture. I would say the detailing on this actually looks maybe even a little better than the T-Rex did. As you move down, you can see the muscle definition in the arm there for the Spinosaurus. You can also see the elbow, and as you continue to move down, you've got the hands sculpted very nicely, nice scoots down the fingers, and the nails as well, even, you know, sport some really nice kind of cracks and crevices, some really nice fine detail to them. And you will notice seams as you move through, because again, all I did was assemble it, and we're taking a look at it from there so that you can see what the model looks like pretty much, you know, straight out of the packaging. But as you move back here into the stomach region, you can see all sorts of skin wrinkles and skin folds and stuff moving into the lower part of the stomach closer to the thigh. And as you move back up here, you can again see how nice the scale detail looks. You can also take note to those scoots that move down here along the course of the back of the Spinosaurus right under the sail, and then moving up into the sail itself. You can also see again that the skin texture looks really good there. You can see all sorts of cracks and crevices and everything moving through the sail here of the Spinosaurus. And then as you move down, you've got the hip bone kind of protruding from the skin a little bit right there. You also have the muscle definition in the thigh, and then again continuing to move down, you can see the knee. You can also see the seam where the leg was connected, but this is one of the things that I think is just so impressive about these Nanmu models when it comes to the kind of, you know, model kit versions, is just how nice the body parts kind of, you know, go together and blend without even having to fill the seams. For the most part, they do really, you know, sit quite nicely in the model. You know, they don't look like there's a massive gap, or there's not a lot that's going to have to receive putty or any sort of material to fill the gaps. For the most part, they sit pretty smoothly. You can also see again that we've got the calf muscle moving down, and then we lead down into the foot sculpt, and the foot sculpt also looks really impressive. Again, The fine detailing of Nanmu models is some of the best out there, no doubt about that. You can also see the nails and everything, and of course we do have dew claws back there for the Spinosaurus. And then as you move back up, you lead out into the tail. You can see the skin texture kind of gets a little bit bigger as you move out into the tail. Here's one area where you can see the seam where the tail was, glued on, so that's going to take a little bit more putty than the others will, but still, again, it's not a horrible seam, just a little bit bigger. But as you move out, you have a nice slight curve to the tail. You can see it leads up and then back down out there for the tip. The underside also, again, has very nice looking skin texture moving through, very nice fine detail, even for the undersides of the feet of the Spinosaurus. And then you can see the claws and everything as you move back are very close to the screen. But again, you're going to see pretty much the same thing as you turn the model around, because again, it is in a neutral position. It's in that sort of maquette style positioning where everything is the same on this side. So no real big differences or anything from one side to the other. So we are now at the point where we are going to go ahead and get some paint work on this Spinosaurus, and then we'll bring it back in and check it out when it's finished. So here is my Spinosaurus now painted up and definitely looking pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with it overall. Again, this is probably one of the most intimidating paint jobs consistently for me, and I don't know what it is about the Jurassic Park 3 Spinosaurus, but I just always have like the hardest time painting this figure and making it look good enough where I'm happy with it. But you can see again, once you actually do put some paint apps on it, it really does come to life in a very nice, beautiful way, but still continues to again have that picture perfect sort of maquette type look, which is, in my opinion, the most appealing aspect of these figures. You can see though, again, as we run through it, the paint apps again, I've done here, I hope, look as close as possible to what the Spinosaurus looks like in Jurassic Park 3. It kind of has like that grayish coloration, but also kind of has like that brownish coloration, depending on the way you look at it. And I think I've captured that for the most part. When it comes to the appearance of the figure, again, like I said, I was pretty happy with my overall paint jobs on it. The one area that's always so hard for me is always the sail, and I think the sail looks okay on this one, but probably not the greatest Spinosaurus paint job ever, but I think it turned out pretty decent. It's a little hard to really get good reference material for the sail area. Again, we have things like the Dinosaur Style Guide from Marco Makes, which is one of the things that helped me the most when it comes to this paint job, but again, I also try to go and get reference material from the films if I can, just to really make it as accurate as possible. And again, I think it turned out okay, but of course the main goal here would be to show you how nice the actual sculpt looks, and with some paint work on it, you can see, like I said, it really does come to life in an absolutely incredible way. And then, of course, we also have the base, and the base I've given just basically a black coloration, just like I did with the T-Rex. No real flashiness or anything when it comes to the paintwork of the base. So I'm pretty psyched to actually get the Spino on the base. I have yet to actually look at it standing on the base, so let's do that and check it out from there. And there we go. Our Spinosaurus is now standing on the base and definitely looking super cool once it is on the base. It definitely has that, again, like I've said about a million times when it comes to these reviews, that maquette type look. Like, it looks like it is a piece of the making of Jurassic Park. It really does look so cool. I just love that sort of stagnant pose on these type of models. It definitely looks really good on this Spino. But as far as the size goes, of course, which is something we're very interested in, for a length you are looking at about 15¼ inches, or right around 13.9 centimeters. And then for a height, the highest point would be the sail, a little under 7.5 inches, or right around 19 centimeters. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, Robert Muldoon, and the Collect Day human being here next to our Nanmu unactivated model kit version of the Spinosaurus. And you can see that the Spino is obviously quite a bit larger than everybody that is standing here with it. Definitely, again, a very nicely sized model, as I expected it to be. We've also got a Mattel Velociraptor and Dilophosaurus stepping in here next to the Spinosaurus for yet another comparison. I don't feel like we need to do too many, because obviously this Spino is going to be very similar in size to the other Spinosaurus that Nanmu has released previously up until this point. But for another comparison that I think will be a pretty fun one, there is the Nanmu unactivated version of the Tyrannosaurus Rex as well, next to the Spinosaurus. And you can see that obviously the Spinosaurus is a bit larger than the T-Rex. That was something that was pretty much to be expected, but you can also see that they look incredibly cool next to each other. So fingers crossed that Nanmu continues to release stuff like this, because I would definitely like to see more of these, maquette style models in the near future. And then in something that's actually quite interesting, surprisingly, the Nanmu Spinosaurus is the main release from Nanmu is actually a little bit different in size compared to the model kit version. It is actually a little bit larger than we see in the actual unactivated version. And you can see they're very close to the same height, but that's because the model kit version is standing up here on the base. This one is definitely a little bit bulkier, a little bit beefier overall, and obviously just a little bit larger than the model kit version. So if you do have the regular version of the Spinosaurus from Nanmu, definitely something to keep in mind when purchasing the unactivated version. It is a little bit smaller. So this brand new Nanmu unactivated model kit version of their Spinosaurus is absolutely fantastic, as everything Nanmu releases is. It's amazing that even when they release models that are unpainted and unbuilt, they still are fantastic. It just never ends with them. But again, the sculpt is absolutely gorgeous on this Spinosaurus from head to tail. It is an incredibly perfect looking, in my opinion, sculpt of the Jurassic Park 3 Spinosaurus. It just replicates the animatronic version, I think, the most, and it replicates it perfectly. The skin texture is excellent moving throughout the course of the model. It's very vibrant, very impressive, and shows exactly the amount of detail you would want to see for a dinosaur in this sort of, maquette kind of stagnant pose, which is definitely a great thing, and also has captured the likeness perfectly of the Spinosaurus. Again, the entire fact that this is in that sort of maquette type of a look is probably the most appealing aspect for me of this model. I just really like that aspect. I think it's super cool to have models like this, because normally whenever somebody creates a JP3 Spino, they always give it some sort of a pose of some kind. Of course, that's what you would like to see, is adding some life to a model. But it is nice to see something once in a while like this, where they go and give us something that replicates a maquette that you would have seen in the making of Jurassic Park, or in this case, of course, Jurassic Park 3. The paint apps were done by me, so, they may not be that great. I'm not really too sure. I guess you'd have to be the judge on that, because I don't really try to judge my own paintwork, but I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out, and of course, a lot of that would have to do with how nice the model is. Once you add some paintwork to it, it nearly paints itself. But in the comment section, let me know what you guys think of the paint job, if it turned out okay or not. One way or another, though, I definitely recommend picking up this model, so as always, I will include a link in the description to where you can purchase this on Lana Time Shop, because that is where I purchased mine. So make sure you do that, and also like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.